How many in here actually know my father? I know you do. Seen him preach before? Okay. That he's been that way my whole life. So some of you probably might have even known him longer than I've been alive. But Brother Crawford doesn't let anybody come into this church and talk to his crowd, his flock. He's responsible for you. And the first time he talked to me about coming and teaching here, we talked about it, and he said pray about it, and he would pray about it. And I respected that because he cares about what you hear. But I wanted to say something, and the reputation of my own father, being Brother Crawford's friend, and the reputation he's carried with him since before I was born, shined on me. And just at the word of my father, Brother Crawford saw value in me enough to consider. Amen. Right? Amen. So we need to understand how that is, because God gave us a relationship with him as our father. And if people recognize his character and you are his child, then people can automatically see value in you. Just like I could go anywhere and no one would know me, but they would know the reputation of my father and give me audience because of what he's done. Amen. Does that make sense? Yeah. And then I'm automatically given value. Now I have to keep it and earn it. Come on. I could ruin it. I could ruin his good name. Come on. But the door was open because of him. And that's what God's done with us. He's our Father. He's opened many doors, gives us value that we have to earn and keep. Does that make sense? Amen. So, for a long time, I've always heard my whole life that I have work to do, and then I always thought I had to be a preacher because that's what I grew up with. And there's no way I could do that. I mean, it's just not in me to do that. And then, to compete with people like that is scary. You're thinking, how could I ever top that? And so you run from it, thinking there's no way. And ultimately, I found what I'm supposed to do. And the comparison is with King David. King David, when he became king of Israel, he had to fight his whole entire way. From when he was anointed as a young man, he fought and fought and fought and fought. And he war after war after war to become the first anointed true king of Israel. Not Saul, but David was God's choice. Right? So David was the warrior king. David defeated everybody. And then Solomon, his son, takes over. When Solomon took over, all of the kingdoms were afraid of him because they knew his father. They thought, oh my God, this guy might even be worse. And so they immediately had value in Solomon, and they came to him offering alliances, and Solomon never had to lift a finger. David laid the foundation for the temple, but Solomon never had to fight a war, so he got to build it. So all of those battles my dad has fought, I don't have to fight. Because he's fought the way for me. I just have to pick up the baton where he left off and go somewhere else with it. That's good. And that's what I feel like I've recognized. I don't need to go down the roads he's went down because he cleared the path for me. Right? And then there's another avenue, because what Solomon ultimately did was nothing like what David did. But you couldn't have the kingdom of Israel without both. Right. You had to have the war, and then you had to have the temple. Amen. So I'm honored that I'm his son. Amen. And I'm proud to be part of that family. Amen.